Everybody, it was everybody that's here.
Like one or
This
two
took
people.
yeah, that's for everybody, the two people that are here, and one of our moderators. This took a lot of work to get this done. So, um, I've been
Oh, the countless hours that we spent
yeah,
trying to prep for
yeah,
the original stream. Like me and Jed were on a phone call for like 6-7 hours trying to prep for the stream, and on the day, unfortunately, his internet and power cut
yeah.
out.
That's the thing that pissed me off even more. But my internet and my power went out. Like, I was just like, "Oh my god, what are you trying to tell me that I shouldn't be doing this?" But okay, we're here, and I gotta say this: we're here. We got Ash is our boy over here, and then for the first time on this stream, which I've been trying so hard to get Uche for, like I said, we said for last week, we've been trying to get Uche here to raise awareness and talk about the Snyder Cut and some other stuff to the stream that Uche is gonna do to help Snyder and help suicide prevention and and just help the cause. So Uche.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. Obviously, we've got some pretty nice things in the works here for our charity stream with Zack Snyder. That's coming tomorrow night if you're in the States. Yeah, it's gonna be huge. Obviously, there's been a lot of buzz around it. A lot of people in the industry, whether it be YouTube in the community or whether it be in Hollywood, actually know about this event. So we're gonna do everything we can to make it an enjoyable experience, and obviously, it's all for good cause. We're going to be with Zack Snyder, and we're going to be raising money for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is obviously a cause that's dear to Zach's heart. And it's a cause that I can definitely relate with, and I can definitely, express my own experiences with those similar situations, not only for myself, but also for people that I've known in my life who some who are no longer here, some who are still around. But that is that's what we have. That's going to be a huge event for everyone to come and check out. So I hope you do. And once we, we'll talk about those experiences, but we'll also celebrate the release of the Snyder Cut. This is a huge situation for Zach, for his family, for the fans of his movies, and for people who are just interested in the story.
Yeah. And in memory of his daughter too, this holds a deep thing because of his daughter. So, and I, like you said, I respect that too, because this holds a dear thing to me. Like you said, when I was a teenager, I had suicidal thoughts and almost tried to kill myself and stuff. So, I know it's hard to say that. It's hard to say that on stream, man. It's hard to say
those kind of things.
Yeah, and true. But luckily, through I had friends and family that tried to help me, and I got through all that. So it's hard to say those. It's hard to say that.
It's a taboo thing in our society to talk about nowadays. That's definitely the truth, but I think that, by talking about it, by actually, speaking and being forthright about it, it makes it something that is easier for people who have experienced the effects of it to really be able to come out and talk about it. And it really does help people who are suffering to come out and talk about how they feel, because, that's part of what keeps it in the shadows, is that society deems it as some type of terrible deed, where I personally don't believe that at all about it. I believe that it's a natural pitfall of life. Like, it's a natural kind of situation that can affect people and their mental health. and I know people who have been strongly affected. I know people who have died by suicide,
Yeah, I
and
have
I know
too.
people who have not officially necessarily been in that category, but I knew their mind state when before they passed, and it wasn't good, so it could easily be considered to be a situation like that
It
as far as
it
suicide
could
goes.
have been easily avoided if some people could have been stepped up. Some people sometimes, because I've been in the same situation with friends. Friends have told me, and then I was like, do you need help, brother? Does anybody in my friends need help? Like, I'm a real giving and loving person and everything else. I want to help people. And as you see, how many times I pestered you about this on Facebook, about trying to get you on here, so you knew this was like so near and deep to my heart that I wanted to do. But I would have to say this is a celebration of trying to get people help about suicide prevention, mental health, and and also this is a win for the fans, all in like all that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah,
even though
there's
some
a
people,
lot of aspects to this entire
yeah, there is, and there's just not one
saga with
aspect to
Zack
any of
Snyder
this.
and
Yeah.
the cause for raising awareness. It's
Mm.
not, it's not as straightforward as one might think, obviously.
Yeah.
But the story is an excellent story, and it's a
Mm.
redemption arc, if you really think about it, for him and what he's gone through. But he's also opened that window for a lot of people who have been in those situations. I can't tell you how many people have messaged me since I announced with Geeks and Gamers, when I announced with them that we're doing this fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
So many people have reached out and shared their experiences and shared that sentiment that it's
Mm-hmm.
so hard to talk about it, and it's such a good thing to see people giving it attention and putting a spotlight on it. Like I said, I don't look at it and think if somebody dies by suicide that their life was worthless, or that or that was some kind of bad decision that they should be condemned for. I really believe
Mm-hmm.
that we're all everyone has their limits. Everyone has the right, I think, in my mind, to decide if they're in that point where how they will handle themselves. But
Yeah.
a lot of it also has to do with finding help, with them seeking help, with them wanting help. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't. It's we friends and family can try, and friends and
Mm-hmm.
family have tried for a lot of people who have died, and it just at the same time it did not change the end result. So just knowing those kind of things, I think that there needs to be a level of empathy and a level of sympathy and a level of understanding about those who have passed and those who deal with struggles that may lead them down that path. We have to be able to open ourselves up and and look at the humanity of it, rather than judge people for thinking or talking about those kinds of things.
Oh, I totally agree. I agree with everything you say, because a lot of people just get demonized for it. Like it's
And
hard
that's
for me.
and that comes from religion. That comes from a religious perspective, which full transparency is one of the reasons why I'm not a religious person. I don't subscribe to man-made religion. I subscribe to spirituality, energy,
Mm-hmm.
and just the real tangible synergy that you can build with people just by your attitude and how you approach things.
Yeah, I grew up with my uncle was a minister, a Christian minister. I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in a church and stuff, but as I got older, and my grandmother and my grandparents, my grandmother mostly, and then my uncle that was a minister, he goes, it's okay to believe other things. You don't have to just believe one thing. You can believe, like, I believe a ton of stuff. I'm not like you basically said, more spiritual and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe in, like, it's hard to explain. Yeah. So,
I mean, you know, I believe in I believe in the experiences I can have genuinely with people. And I
yeah,
think that
me too.
that the energy that you put into the universe, it reciprocates, and you can connect with people in certain ways like that. But you know, we all wondered the question, what happens when we leave this world? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I hope that there's something I mean, I do hope. I feel that there's an afterlife, but you know, while you know, I can't. Nobody's been able to go there and come back and tell us what's what. So for
I know.
for where I'm at right now, I'm on this earth. I'm in this life. That's what I'm focused on. You know, as things come and go, and we get to that point where we can transition or leave this world, then you find out what's up on the other end. But you know, outside of that, I don't worry myself too much about that because you know, I have a life to live right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, you guys are doing awesome, and I gotta say this, and it's just some people have accused me of kissing up to Gary and like Az and Duke. No, what I do is I have and even you now for even setting this in the path of everybody, so everybody can wake up to this. And Zack Snyder too, he's awesome guy. He deserves this because I think Zack Snyder got screwed over extremely by Warner Brothers, DC, and a bunch of other people that just you know, because at heart, I gotta say this, like Gary, like Az, like Doomcock, like you rage because you're a fan and you want to see everything be good. You want to see stuff made for fans, like you said. It's furious. But then on top of this, we have this really good charity that's going on that is, like you said, it's a redemption story, and it's just how did you say it? Yeah. Sometimes
it's designed to do a lot of good for a lot of people.
Yeah. It's not just there's heroes in the movie that we've loved for I'm 40 something, and how I learned to read was through Superman comics. Okay. I learned to read through Superman comics. So I've loved Superman and everybody at DC all my life. So they've been my heroes. And just, like, actually, again, Christopher Reeve, I loved Christopher Reeve. Everybody and Ash, you gotta talk to my boy Ash here. He is one of the biggest Henry Cavill Man of Steel fans, Uche. Like, my boy here, Ash, is one of, and I wanted him to be here. I wanted him to be here when you were here because he's truly into the Snyderverse. Absolutely. I love 3000. What was it? I'm blanking again. The girls. What was the Ash?
Birds of Prey.
No, Birds. It was the movie where it was like anime-ish, and they were in a mental institution, but they weren't.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch. I love Sucker Punch. A lot of people
Sucker Punch is a good movie.
Yeah, a lot of people rip on that movie. Yeah.
When was Sucker Punch released? When did that come out?
Was Sucker Punch was after 300, so that was like 2009, I want to say.
Yeah.
Jed, you're gonna know. I'm not gonna know what it is.
Oh, I know, but okay. Here's the thing, Uche. Okay. We have a thing in my chat and then in Clobber Times chat that me, Mike, and Retro, and a bunch of the other guys have to keep like telling him because he's so young, he hasn't seen anything. So a lot of the stuff that he's coming to, he's only seen the recent stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff he's coming to, he's seeing through fresh eyes now.
Yeah.
You know? Oh man. So he wasn't even like, you're what? Yeah. You said you're about to turn 21. So
I am 21. So
you are 21. Okay.
That's the interesting dynamic we have on the channel because I'm 21, and the reason we're called Pop Culture Archivists is because we're looking back at a lot of the old films, the old TV shows, and these guys are reminiscing on pop culture that they grew up with, that they loved and enjoyed. Whereas I'm one of the very few people from my generation that actually is interested in the roots of pop culture and like the old comics, the old TV shows, and things like that. And so I'm going back and watching them and giving my first fresh impressions of all this stuff, and these guys are just losing their shit because I'm watching it for the first time, and these guys get to reminisce on great times from when things weren't woke and everyone just tried to make good stories, really.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a pretty
look, let
fun
me explain
dynamic.
something about woke. Woke has been around for a long time.
Yeah, it has.
It's just taken on new names. Woke has been around going back to the very first, the first days of television. There were people who wanted to cancel Elvis because he danced, and they thought his dances were too provocative and too sexually charged. There are people who wanted to cancel Little Richard. There are people who wanted to cancel the Beatles. There are people who wanted to cancel all, artists from the 30s back all the way to now. Their cancel culture, woke culture, whatever you want to call it. That stuff has been around. It's just, it's never seen such a hyper realization as it is today, because you have social media, because you have this connected world, which you didn't have back then. News took time to travel 50, 30 years ago, hell, 20 years ago. It took a long time to travel. Like, I remember a time before the internet. The internet didn't really come into the game. You know what I mean? The internet did not. Social media didn't start till I was in college.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like the mid 90s till you actually got internet. Decently.
Yeah, see, the thing that's
the mid 90s, you got
internet
dial up, and then by the time I got to high school, that was the first time. High school was when I was introduced to cable internet. That's when I remember when my dad got cable internet. We had like our little tower computer, and me and my buddies would be playing Counter-Strike, the original Counter-Strike.
Oh wow.
On computer, playing online with each other, and that was like, this is a revolution. Like, and I'm fucking about to be 18 at this time. Like, so I've seen, and Jed has seen too, the world before all of this. It was still the same. There were still the same things that people are seeing and complaining about now. It just wasn't as easily. You couldn't find it as easily, because back then you had to wait till the news came on, or you'd have to sign up on AOL, and you'd look at web pages that took a minute and a half to load up.
Uche, do you remember when Cindy Margolis was the most downloaded girl on the internet? Like, Cindy, and it would take there's other people in our chat here that actually know about this too, that you go D a little bit at a time, and somebody would pick up on the phone and then call you, and then he would screw you and knock you off the line.
Yeah. I used to have to watch my little porn movies late at night.
I know, right?
Because I'd have to dial into the internet. And you can't during the day. If somebody picks up that landline, see, people, there wasn't no cell phones back then neither.
No,
there was, but it was like,
they were only for
it was just a phone.
It was just super rich people. Yeah, only the super rich people had them. Like,
I just about remember dial-up. Like, sorry, go on. No, I was just gonna say I just about remember dial-up because I've always been into technology and computers and stuff. And my dad has had a background in electronics, so I've always been around that sort of stuff. So I was always like looking at the computers he was working on or he was using, and I'd say I was probably about 4 or 5. I remember the dial-up and the beeping, and I think floppy disks just went out of fashion just before then. And my dad was showing me those. I was like, oh, what's this? This is like so cool. I mean, many people my age don't know what that is. I mean, many people in my generation have no clue what a regular CD is or a floppy disk. Or
that's crazy. Like I never thought CDs would go out of like.
Oh
yeah, absolutely. Well, get this. There's me and Jed have spoken extensively on this. There's so many people in our generation that don't know key events about WW2.
Yeah.
I find that to be utterly fucking disappointing.
And they're in my generation. They're Gen Z, my generation. And I'm just like, how are these
Yeah.
kids in their current state and don't know about these historic events, but they know who the latest TikToker is, or they know who the latest Instagram model or what the newest trend is. But at the end of the day, that may be the in thing, but that's superficial. That's not actual history. That's not world impacting, essentially. So
Like,
it's an interesting dynamic from my young perspective, because I've got, like, in terms of my thought processes, it's like half Gen Z and half Gen X mixed together, in like the way I think about things, and it's a pretty interesting dynamic, actually. And we have lots of crazy conversations on the channels.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's pretty fun as well.
Wait, I gotta put this one. Chris Persia just put this one up, and I gotta put this one up right here. Okay, Chris just said, he just said, Ash missed out on the short-lived property of zip disk and jazz disc prior to the rewritable disc and its replacement with DVDs in the space of a few years. Yeah. So yeah, they were. Uche, if you remember this, you can go ahead and take this one.
What, zip discs? I remember zip discs. I remember when I got my first CD burner, and I was like, "It's on now, bleeding edge. I'm gonna be burning all my favorite CDs."
Yeah, you remember? You're like, it's a whole new world, and like, oh my god,
world. I'm about to start copying CDs, and then I remember from there, I got my first DVD-R drive, and I was like, oh baby, now I'm gonna be burning Blu-rays, and within like 2 years of that, you don't even see CDs no more in stores to buy. Like I don't even have, like, my computer now is like bleeding edge, and there's not even a drive on it. There's no drive at all. There's there's no disk drive. There's no anything.
Same here.
Like,
I wish I had a computer. My computer's like 11 to 12 years old. So I'm still running like something from last decade. Or I would be doing like video, because I don't know if you noticed, I only do live streams because I can hardly even get videos to do. So I only do live streams right now. When I get an up to date in the decade computer, I'll be doing videos.
Yeah.
So, when I get that, you'll see me like blasting out videos like the Quarterling, where he like pops out 5 a day.
Oh my god, the quartering.
Dude, you gotta love the Quarterling, because he's like, it's not like Mark Zero, where Mark Zero puts out 10 of the same videos, just re-symboling the words around. But then the Quarterling's like, hey, I have 10 different videos, where Mark Zero's over here and he does 10 of the same videos, just rewords everything.
Yeah, Quartering will just do 10 videos on the same. He'll do 10 Gina Carano videos in 2 days.
Like, well, is Anakin and Darth Jar Jar coming back? And I'm like, oh, Mark, just why? Don't tease us people that like Darth Jar Jar, man, because I got to see some of the script of the second movie. Oh my god! If we would have had that instead of everybody wigging out, Darth
Jar Jar was going to be in Attack of the Clones?
They were setting Jar Jar
absolutely.
At the end, he was going to come out and like all Sith-like, and it wasn't going to be the other homie. He was like, they come out in the Sith voice and like a Sith lightsaber, and he was going to go up against Yoda. Like, I was just like, oh my god!
I wanted
that.
But they teased that in the comic books.
Yeah, they did so many times. And here's the thing:
he actually used a lightsaber. In the comic books to save a clone trooper.
Yeah,
and he looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, here's the thing, and I gotta say this because I hate Disney Star Wars. Okay, the only thing I liked about The Mandalorian was that they maybe a little bit Baby Yoda, and then the other like 95% Gina. That was it.
See, I liked The Mandalorian. I didn't particularly like any of the other characters
Yeah,
who were the mainstays. I liked the Mandalorian. Baby Yoda was fine because Baby Yoda didn't talk.
I will agree with what Ryan said. After a bit, he got kind of annoying.
Yeah, Baby Yoda was just like whatever after the first. For me, after
yeah.
For me, they didn't lean enough into him actually helping the Mandalorian.
No, they didn't.
In dire times. I would have made Baby Yoda a lot more useful because Baby Yoda was still 50 years old and understood that he has force powers, and they didn't build on that and allow for Baby Yoda to become naturally more in tune with his force powers. Honestly, I was indifferent with Gina Carano's character. Like Cara Dune thing, I was like, okay, she's just like a brute forcer. I mean, brute force, I've seen that a million times in shows. I thought she was good. I thought she was a good actress, good enough for it. And Carl Weathers, Carl Weathers is Carl Weathers. He played his role.
Carl Weathers is awesome, and he
played his role very well.
Yeah, and like we everybody knows Carl Weathers the best is Apollo from Rocky. Like
and Predator.
In Predator, I have so much knowledge up in my noggin. It's not even funny. It's just like. Okay, get this, and I will say this, Uche, on Sunday. And before we get to the other stuff, because how much time do you have? Can you be here for a bit? Or
I got about 35 more minutes.
Okay.
Because I actually got a meeting after this.
Yeah, I know you guys are having the stuff tomorrow, so and I'll be there on the channel.
Jed, look in the private chat. What are you doing?
What?
Ryan's here.
Oh shit! I didn't see it, Ryan, brother. I'm so sorry. Ryan, I'm sorry.
I'm just sitting back here. You're even talking about my takes on Mandalorian. I'm just like, let me in.
Well, the thing is, I just want to add before we head off into a deep dive into Star Wars. I actually have a different opinion on the sequel trilogy because I'm 21, and The Force Awakens is actually the first Star Wars film I watched at the cinema. So for me, the sequel trilogy actually means quite a lot because that was my real dive into Star Wars on the big screen. I saw the previous films before it, but I actually quite enjoyed the sequel trilogy. But the bits that I enjoyed is the visuals, the sound, the CG, and some of the wide angle scenes. But everything apart from Force Awakens, the episodes 8 and 9, what made them or tried to make them Star Wars, I didn't enjoy because canonically they just didn't work for me. But I really enjoyed the story of Force Awakens. I thought that was a good foundation to build off of. But personally, they just ruined it going forward.
Honestly, there was such an amazing opportunity after The Force Awakens to really go down a new path with Star Wars, and there could have been a real passing of the torch, I think, between the original trilogy characters to the sequel trilogy had they approached it the right way. In a perfect world, the sequel trilogy for me is focused on Rey and Finn as force sensitive characters.
Yeah.
Finn or Rey being the Jedi, and Finn being the strategist, being an officer, being someone who helps to lead the new Republic, or the new Republic against what were they called again? The Order,
New Order,
First Order. I really felt like if they would have leaned into having because when I think of this, I think back to the canon, or to some of the legend stories, especially with Heir to the Empire, when you have the one old Jedi that Thrawn finds that has the battle meditation powers.
Jorah Sabaoth.
Jorah Sabaoth, yeah. I was thinking Finn being a character who specializes more in battle meditation, helping to, you know, and with battle meditation that helps coordinate your fleets of ships to focus and be more efficient in their battle readiness. Like that would have been a great angle to work with Finn on, and have him and Rey both working together, you know, one being the hammer, one being, you know, with Rey with the lightsaber, and then one being the brains of it per se. And it really could have pieced together a great story, because then you could have a connection between Finn and Leia, because Leia was in that position, and Leia was also force sensitive. So she would be able to train him in that respect. And then you'd have Luke being able to train Rey in that respect. And then you'd have Han kind of grooming guys like what's his name? All right, see, that's how much it doesn't mean nothing to me no more. Who was the one flying? Who was flying? Who was Oscar Isaac's character?
Poe Dameron.
Dameron. Like
Brian is an encyclopedia of just all the Star Wars stuff.
That makes sense though, don't it, Ryan? Like you have three characters for three characters to kind of like pass the torch of that character mold.
Here's the problem with the sequel trilogy is that they artificially try to recreate the original trilogy. They had the First Order and they had the Resistance, because, you know, at the end of Return of the Jedi, you have what is clearly the beginnings of the fall of the Empire, and presumably New Republic is going to rise up. But they didn't want to tell a story about a government that's trying to, you know, get its feet under it. They wanted to tell a story about the underdogs versus the evil guys with all this manpower and all these super weapons. Like that was what made the expanded universe so great, was because it was a logical progression from where we ended at Return of the Jedi. That was
amazing.
Right? So they're still fighting the Empire, but they're wiping up the Empire, and eventually, you know, they make peace with the Imperial remnant, and you know, you do get some of that humanization that they were trying to get even in Mandalorian of the Imperials, to be like, listen, these guys, they're not bad people. That's just where they were born. That's just how they know. They're just doing their jobs, and
they're just on that team. They just happen to be born on that side.
But you can't like, they had no creativity. So instead what they did was they just tried to artificially recreate a facade of the original trilogy with really not committing to anything. They committed to nothing in Force Awakens, which is why I didn't like it so much. To me, and I hear what you're saying. Like, if that's the first one, if you're 15 years old or 14 years old, you go there, you're probably like, wow, because it's just like, it's stunning visuals, the John Williams score, you know, seeing Han Solo again, all those things. I get that. But like, for me, it was just so hollow. They didn't explain anything. And that's the thing.
No, they didn't.
You're going to be like, well, you know, we built this new government, but then it's collapsing for some reason. Like, you got to explain something if you're going to do that to us. If you're going to do something that doesn't make logical sense, you have to explain it in some way. And they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. And also, I mean, like he was saying with the extended universe, man, they went into a lot about the post OT lives of a lot of the main characters, and it really got into the weeds about, you know, their personal lives, like Han and Leia getting ready to start their family, you know, just the politics, these different worlds, these different parts of the galaxy that are scrambling to try and like find some kind of common ground to move forward as a new republic. You know, in the proxy wars that they were having with the Empire, where it wasn't full scale war anymore, but it was more like guerrilla warfare, where, you know, certain sectors were still under control of the Empire. Like, it wasn't a full new republic that had been built up. There were still portions of the known galaxy and the Outer Rim that were under complete Empire control, that still operated like the Empire was still a thing. So it really became a big story about, just the aftermaths of galactic warfare and how things were still, fractured, at post Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so all these extra stories that you were just talking about, were they part of the extended universe that was
they
cut
killed
from
it
canon?
when Disney bought it?
Right,
They basically said everything that you guys, everything that's been kind of set up that would have made it so easy to actually like continue the saga.
Okay.
They made it non-canonical, so it didn't even and only to kind of reach back and continue to grab more and more pieces from it post after the fact, which really defeated the purpose of even making it non-canonical, because why would you do that? You're still going back and stealing parts of it and not even using them right.
You know why, Uche? It's because they wanted to be able to utilize some of those stories without being able to like take credit for themselves, right?
Yeah, without having to actually acknowledge that it came from. Yeah,
that's what I think it is.
If you Ash, if you see all those novels behind Brian right there, that's a ton of EU stuff.
Oh man!
There.
I can see some of those where I'm looking at at the back and I can tell what they are.
Yeah, like
I got double layers on some of these shelves too. There's even more behind there.
Yeah.
I ain't never gonna forget about that Wonder Woman hat after that.
I love this one, dude. I love this Wonder Woman hat.
Yeah, but he has like
look at my Deathstroke
awesome
one.
Stuff. Yeah,
I see that Deathstroke one look cold. I ain't gonna
That's
front.
sick.
And I got Nightwing one to match my shirt, actually.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
Nightwing. See, man, it's cool having a normal person-sized body where you can just go buy shit and it fits. I can't buy any clothes. I would never find a shirt like that fits me. It's like, they only make that up into 2X.
Yeah.
Well, luckily when you played in the NFL, you afford to get custom shit made for you.
Everything's tailored.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that I don't know in terms of the extended universe, and like more and more, I'm like learning bits and pieces from people that actually know about these sorts of things, and I'm going back and reading bits. I mean, like recently, I just read up on Revan and his storyline and his backstory and some of the bits that he did, and that was just absolutely awesome. If they cast Keanu Reeves as Revan, yes, please.
I think Revan is canon now because they actually alluded to him in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I also read an article that the ghost of Revan came to Darth Vader at some point as well, but I'm not sure how much truth there is to that, Ryan.
I think that was when he actually found a Sith holocron.
Right. Ask Ryan on that one. Ask Ryan on that one.
Well, I don't know about the Darth Vader part in Disney comics. That's the first I would maybe have heard of that. However, Rise of Skywalker made the name Revan canon because there was of those Sith legions, those red Sith troopers. They had like battalion names or legion names, and one of them was named after Revan. So that does canonize the name. There was a deleted scene that they were going to put in the Clone Wars in season 3 or 4 or something like that. Whenever it was the where they all of a sudden they go missing, the Mortis arc. They were going to have Revan and I think Darth Bane potentially appear to the Son, I think, to talk to him, but they cut that out eventually. They cut it out, so it never actually made the final cut. So that technically isn't like Clone Wars canon or whatever you want to call it, because George at the last second wanted to pull it out because he was worried about the prospect of potential
Sith Force Ghost,
Sith being able to use Force Ghosts.
When they're technically not able to be Force Ghosts.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's why they put part of themselves in holocrons.
Or any other like inanimate objects like swords or things like that.
See, I'm learning.
Dude, the EU, man, the EU is such a beaut. Like it's so flush with amazing stories, dude. If you want to like have a good starting point, and you don't care about whether it's necessarily canon or not, like Heir to the Empire, that saga is just that's kind of like the starting point.
That's
and then if
what
you want
they should have done, right there.
That's what they should have done, because that's almost a direct sequel
Yeah.
to the Star Wars original trilogy. Like it's built
Yeah.
that way. And then you have Thrawn. The Thrawn Alliances is an excellent one. The Thrawn trilogy, like his trilogy of books are all great. Like anything with Thrawn in book form that you can get like audiobooks for, oh man, do it.
I gotta say, it's not the Thrawn we saw on Rebels or anything, because he was a piss poor. I gotta say this, and Ryan, I think both you guys will agree on me. He was a piss poor copy of Thrawn. Thrawn,
he wasn't near like that. Thrawn, the Thrawn in the EU would have obliterated that entire Rebels cast. They would have all been done in the first battle.
Well, Rebels is the first
genius
time I met
strategies.
Yeah, well, like I said, Rebels is the first time I saw the character Thrawn. So naturally, me being interested in the original lore and the roots of the characters, I went a bit wide and read around the character and realized that the character's actually from the Uncharted regions, and his race is from there, and he did a deal with Palpatine. Exactly, yeah. And like it's just fascinating. I mean, I'm the same with a lot of things, really. Like, I'm finding bits out now, getting into different fandoms, and then I want to know more about the source material, so I'll go back and read the originals. I mean, I did the same. Like Jed lost his shit when I did this, but I did the same with comic books. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. I was interested in reading some old comic books, and I prefer reading physical books rather than digitally. So I bought the entire 102 issue run of West Coast Avengers.
Gotta say, West Coast Avengers, man. I gotta love me West Coast Avengers. Like,
man, if it's not Justice League, I'm not reading.
Yeah. Well, see, I like DC and Marvel both, but I lean more over towards DC. But there's some things in Marvel that I love, like Spidey and Fantastic Four.
Uncanny X-Men was the best thing for me in Marvel. Like I mean, this really you could only know this if you were an 80s baby who grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
The X-Men cartoon was like everything. X-Men cartoon and Batman the Animated Series were the two like the definitive comic book cartoons, and I'll put Spider-Man in there too as well.
Yeah.
Those three would have been the trinity of comic book TV shows, like animated TV shows that literally like they coincided with probably some of the best storyline eras of their comics as well. Like when the animated series was out for Batman, that was right around the time Nightfall hit. So there was a ton, like Batman was so hugely popular because of the animated series. Then you had X-Men. The X-Men TV show came out at the reboot of the X-Men, making them Uncanny X-Men.
When we had like 100 chromium covers too,
Oh my God, the chromium covers. Dude, I used to think those things were going to be worth millions when I got
me too. Dude, I bought one of each cover and then went back and bought more. I was like, they're going to be worth some. No.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the X-Men TV show. That's actually one of the shows I'm starting to watch through. I've watched through the original 90s Fantastic Four. I loved that show. Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, loved that show. This is all after like half my life being completely consisted of the MCU. So I'm going back and watching these old shows, and that's why like Disney Plus has a lot of value for me personally, because all the old Marvel shows are on Disney Plus. So I'm able to go back and watch the original stuff, but I'm also excited for the future of the MCU because literally half my life is invested in the MCU. So I'm cautiously optimistic about future projects, but that's why I really enjoy Disney Plus and what it has on offer, especially with the introduction of Disney Star for us in the UK and Europe. I'm not sure about the rest of Europe, but at least the UK, that's where they put a bunch of their Hulu projects onto Disney Plus. So I'm able to watch things like Hellstrom and some of the other projects. I mean, as I've got older, I've got into darker stories like Ghost Rider and things like that. I'm starting to learn more about Ghost Rider, and Hellstrom was I think it's like a prequel type story to Ghost Rider with the devil and the devil's son and that sort of thing. So that's really cool. But yeah, I'm really loving the old shows, the old animation styles, the classic theme tune of the original X-Men TV show is like, as soon as I hear it, I'm just like, I know exactly what that is. So it's great.
We were okay on Sunday. We're gonna have a William Shatner appreciation stream. We're gonna have Robert Meyer Burnett. We're gonna have Clobbering Times. We're gonna have Raquel Briggs, and I'm trying to get some other people in too. For that are true Trekkies and stuff. And Ashley's gonna be there, and I'm gonna be there. And like he just now got you got to see Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 today?
No, I watched 2 through 5. I watched 5 like a couple of hours ago. So
he watched 2 through 5 for the first time too today.
Yeah. So basically, what Mike and Raquel are doing on Clobbering Times' channel is they're doing, which is an excellent thing. They're reviewing all of Trek up until 2005, episode by episode, going through production certified production notes and just talking about each episode. And I've never watched the original series fully, so I'm watching some of these episodes for the first time, offering my first impressions. And like a few days ago, I bought the original the original series films, and I've already watched like 5 of them, and I just love them. And like I'll be giving my first impressions in that stream, but so far I love them. And it all comes back again to keeping the old stuff alive, because that's really at the heart of fandom. That's what made loads of people's fans in the first place. And
that's the reason why we have Snyder Cut too,
exactly,
because the fans kept it alive. That's exactly. If it wasn't for the fans, and like, dude, I gotta say, Ryan and Uche and you and Lethal and Jeremy, not so much Jeremy, because Jeremy has some issues like I have, but
he's got a lot of issues.
Yeah, I know he does. but you gotta respect Snyder for everything he's doing, and the charity, and for putting his heart in it for his daughter and everything. You know what I'm saying? For everything else.
Man, you're right.
And like it like it said, it go full circle. You know what I'm saying? And I just
fans keeping the Snyder Cut movement. And look, this is and I'm sure Ryan knows this. It's not just that they just went online and fucking yelled about it every day. These guys were coordinated. They like methodically worked in unison to strategically put pressure on the studio to do something, to react in some way. Like they had planes flying over Comic-Con. They had designated days and times that they did trending pushes. They had coordinated events with merchandise and all kinds of things that really set the wheels in motion and kept the thing relevant. And also, and probably just as importantly, is their efforts in helping to raise awareness for suicide prevention. And donating money and raising money for AFSP.
And it wasn't just, it's not just like spamming replies for HBO Max, they, when there was the president of Warner Media, I think a new president came in, and the first day her office was just full of like flowers and fruit baskets and gifts. And she's like, wow, I can't believe like all the people working here are like so excited. It's overwhelming. And all of them were from Snyder Cut fans saying, hey, we're glad you're the president. Please release the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Like all of them, like letter writing campaigns. Like, it's not just all this. It's just not saying, fuck you, Warner Brothers, release the Snyder Cut. It was much more than that.
Yeah, it was, dude. I mean, and that right there, doing that. I mean, first off, knowing that a new like head for Warner Media was coming in, and knowing who it was, knowing when they were going to be there, and having the wherewithal to actually like follow through and order gift baskets, flowers, chocolates, all these different things that would obviously be adorn her office. That is going to have much more than just an effect on a business perspective for somebody who's in that position. That's going to affect them, from on a human level. They're going to be touched by that. And then when Snyder Cut, when the opportunity came to the table, that person is now more inclined to actually take a serious consideration of it, because something, those people didn't have to do that. They could have easily have just made it another 800,000 tweet day, and but that's separate. That's 6 degrees of separation from somebody's actual life. They affected her life, her actual life in real time to give themselves some leverage. And look, if we have to thank the evolution of the internet to a certain degree as well, because if this streaming service situation hadn't become as vital as it's become to the business model for media and entertainment, then it probably doesn't happen. The fact that HBO Max was a platform that had to be made to compete with the evolving world of entertainment and media, that's what opened the window for the Snyder Cut to be a possibility, and the fans pushed it in the window. There was no ignoring it. And look, man, this is the 18th. I can't even dude. This is going to be a global thing. This isn't even going to be just in the U.S. This is going to be around the entire world. People are waiting on this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't dude. To be honest, and I know we have some friends like Clobber, and they're they do not like anything Snyder, but I'm I like it.
I bet you they watch a Snyder Cut. I don't care if you like it or not. Our friend, they're probably going to watch it.
Mike, if you're still out there, he's probably in there. He's even going to watch it, because he even said this is a good thing that it should be done. It because it brings awareness to everything. Like I said earlier, I had problems when I was a teenager, and I almost took my life too. But I got help, and I was able to get friends and family that was able to help me, and I feel for all these people that are having especially with the bullshit lockdown that we've had. I feel for people, man.
Lockdowns have had a huge effect on people mentally as well. People's economic well-being has been affected over the last year in a way that we haven't seen in a generation. So there surely has been more in way of people who have committed suicide, people who have struggled with mental health. And this is obviously this is going to be a great chance to raise money, to bring awareness, and really, to celebrate Zach and what he's been able to do. Because, could you imagine? I can only imagine if somebody took away what, my life's work.
Yeah.
And, at the same time, my child died. I got 2 daughters. I would have, who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows what this Snyder Cut movement actually did for Zach mentally? You know what I mean? Because he was beaten down. He was beaten down because of this. He was beaten down because of the situation.
He didn't do anything for a long time. He just focused on healing his family. Yeah. And that's what, with the lockdowns, Uche talked about the economic stuff. It's more than just that, because now you're not going to school. Like kids are not going to school. The depression rate for kids is super high because they're not interacting with people the same way they're used to. Working out is a huge thing, and a huge thing for mental health. A lot of people cannot do that right now. At the same time, they lock down all the gyms and don't let you work out. They keep the fast food places open, don't they?
So that's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. Az has been having that problem, because Az wants, I watch Friday Night Tights every week with you, Ryan, and everybody, and Az I want to work out, but I can't get out of my bloody house,
It's a whole mess of things, and so it's hard for a lot of people out there right now. And I'm just glad we're gonna be able to do some good. We're gonna be able to hype the Snyder Cut up just a little bit more, a little bit before it drops. And
I keep telling everybody tomorrow's New Year's Eve for the Snyder Cut community.
Yeah.
New
Hey,
Year's
Ash
Eve.
or Ryan, I don't know whoever's faster. Can one of you bring it up and put it in our chat so I can pop it up on the screen?
yeah, I got you.
The total. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Every time I
Yeah,
search Uche Waneri, it's like the second thing that pops up.
Yeah.
Your boy getting traction. I've been looking at my big Q score now. That must be like 76. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, I saw it and I was like so happy for that. And I was just like, dude, that's freaking awesome. Because, you know, anytime I see that I get on there, I'm like reposting everything. Like even your stuff too, Ryan. So, you know.
And we're at 16K, baby.
Yeah.
16K.
I think, you know what? Let me pull it up on mine because if you scroll down, it'll show you the true number, right?
16.8. It's like 16.8. Let's stop.
Yeah,
16.8.
Okay, right there. Up. Yeah. 16.8.
Yeah.
I mean, we were thinking about we were like, man, if we do like 10,000 before it starts, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, we're damn near, you know, we're pushing closer to 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just so I'm just like I'm blown away by the generosity. And here's the thing, and I gotta say this, Ryan and Uche. The thing that pisses me off the most, we're problematic, we're racist, we're all this stuff. But here we are, our community comes together and raises 16K before the stream even starts. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you're right, man. And I'll say this. I think that with the exposure that this has given people to Geeks and Gamers and more behind that little veil that people have set in front of it and assuming, because, you know, obviously, Jeremy is a controversial figure in many ways, but, you know, there's an entertainment aspect to that
Ryan's
really
best friend
is, you know, and Ryan too, there's an entertainment aspect that they have that's what people like to see. That's the energy that people like to see. And I think that in the past, you know, 10 days or so, people have begun to see that is just a part of Geeks and Gamers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so much more to it. There's so much more. This is the only way I can really explain it. What a lot of these people who go online and complain about diversity, a lot of the things that they talk about and how they want the world to be, that's kind of how Geeks and Gamers is.
Yeah.
We're a very diverse group. Like, we don't all just like the same thing. We don't all see things the same way. We have our arguments, we have our debates, and we all come from different walks of life. Like, there's not necessarily a single worldview in Geeks and Gamers. And a lot of people don't understand that, but a lot of people are beginning to see that because of this. A lot of people are beginning to see the other elements of Geeks and Gamers through what we're doing with Zack Snyder and this charity, and just even the kind of uproar that caused when Zack leaked it. There has been people who were assuming and you know, berating it, and then they actually took the time, some of them, to open their eyes and see what really is going on. And those people have begun to change their sentiment. They're now speaking more openly that, hey, I did hate Geeks and Gamers, but now I've gotten a deeper look at Geeks and Gamers, and it's not what I thought it was. And it's not, you know, they have a lot of women, they have people who are LGBT, they have you know, African American.
Yeah.
We got one, guys. We got one.
Wait. Isn't Rippa part of the team now too?
Yeah,
so
Rippa as well. So now, you know, it's not no longer Token. Now we got two.
By the way, I gotta say last night. Was it last night or night before?
Jed, am I the Token on our team?
Yeah. It's just like the Token in our, because I will say this, I didn't start out to do this because certain things happened, and I was like, people kept telling me, like, Jet, do YouTube stream, because I was in certain people's channel and on other people's channel, and then I started hanging out because I know Mike Clobbering Times for like 10 years or more. And then other people, and I started going back on his channel, and then other people like, you need to do a channel. So it's slowly, and I've, because I've been in all your guys' streams. I've been in Friday Night Tights. I've been in Doomcocks. I've been in, I've been in Gary's. Like, I've like took the information, and I'm slowly trying to not copy you guys, but to do our own thing. Like Gary said the other night on Friday night, I think it was Friday Night Tights, or was it a nooner? That he said it was either Friday Night Tights or nooner, or it was the Inquisition. I don't remember, because I do so much stuff during the week, so it all kind of blends in. But he said he goes, it's wonderful. He goes, we ain't gonna be here forever, so we need the next, the other up and comers to, like, kind of get in there. And I'm like, well, I was like,
the next generation. I'm literally here.
Cutting your teeth.
Yeah, and like, here's my thing again. Okay, this is our 6th podcast. For people that I know, a lot of people tell me they listen to this when they're driving. We have several people in our chat that tell me this all the time. So, and this is my 6th podcast. Okay, and I got Ryan and Uche on it, which,
That's true. So you're saying nowhere to go but up. Is that what you're saying?
I know. And well, yeah. And well, then on Sunday we're gonna have Robert Meyer Burnett.
Ryan is a star.
Dude. Yeah, no, you can tell this.
You're a star when they're making hit pieces on you.
Yeah, I saw that hit piece. I was looking at that. They were just trying to frame Ryan to the hugest extent.
Dude, it was just like, crazy to me how it was like Steve Bannon.
And I know, and then they showed Ryan when he was like in his like school boy years, where he had the little, when
he was like, well, I'm
before
not
he
sure
had his
exactly
beard
how
and
I
shit.
feel about this, but I just want a great movie.
Well, I never said that. But that was the first time I recorded in front of a camera, and that, I mean, that's a wake up call. I think for me, like, that I'm on those people's list. And that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. They can come after me. And I'm going to continue speaking out about it. I'm going to continue to use them and call out that garbage. So we got out ahead of it. I think, everybody who's actually watched us knows that that's all garbage. That it is bullshit.
It's extremely garbage.
Is what it is, man. Just got to keep grinding. So
yeah, because I hang out with Lethal on his streams and in the full Aussie and other stuff, because I'm a moderator in there and and stuff. So, and then I go hang out with you guys whenever you guys do Friday Night Tights, or Ryan, I know you see me in your stream every now and then. Mm-hmm. So. And I'm just like, but then I was like, and it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm really super brilliant. I have all this knowledge. And then along the way, I picked up, how does it say, when they said in Star Wars, he's like, did you just pick up somebody else? So, like, I have Ash and I have Retro, and we have others that are in, others that may be joining us later on down the line. Mike we do a thing every Thursday. Yeah. Was it Thursday?
It's Thursday.
Global. Yeah, we do a thing on Mike's channel, on Clobber's channel. It's every Thursday, the Global Geek Gang, where it's just an international group of everybody. We got women, we got men, we got all different races and creeds, but yet, like they say again, we're racist and all this other shit. So so it's just I know this too. I'm sorry if whenever I said this to Uche too. Sorry if when I message you guys I get a little bit too giddy and I type a little bit too much, but I'm just excited. So I have that passion in me.
All good.
So
yeah,
so
it's all good. It's like I know Uche's shit has been blowing up.
No, yeah, lately, I know, and I know his shit's been blowing up. So
I got like 20 different like requests to be on like shows. I'm like, I was about to be like, you know me, Ryan. I'm like, well, I don't know you, cuz that's gonna be like 500.
That's the reason. that's the reason why I was on with Ash and Retro and I was like, I don't know if Uche's gonna come on, and like, I have this worry whenever I message somebody because my grandmother used to say, you never know until you try. So, yeah, Mike, we love our Global Geek Gang, brother. And so we're like,
man, you told me you told me that you knew Lethal, and
Yeah.
I asked Lethal, hey, you know who the fuck this guy is? Because I don't know who the fuck he is. And he's like, yeah, he's good, mate. I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. Then I'll go on his show. That's fine.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was
Now,
like,
if I don't know you and you want me to come on your show, and you don't know anybody that I know, and they don't vouch for you, that's gonna be $500, cuz.
Yeah, I was like, I hang out in like all the streams, and then I hang out in Tom's stream all the time on Midnight's Edge and stuff. So I'm there on like every morning for almost all the stuff. And then when Ryan goes to, if he's on like YouTube or something else or like Twitch or stuff, I hang out Sunday with them. Because one of my favorite parts of Sunday is when you and Ripa go off on each other. Like that's. And then Ryan's
Mario Kart
like,
streams.
yeah, the Mario Kart streams are one of my favorites, man.
Yeah, I do look forward to the Mario Kart streams on Sundays.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a shit
Everybody,
show today.
Yeah, if everybody hasn't gone to the Mario Kart streams that's either listening in our chat, you guys need to go to those. It's on Twitch on Sunday.
I should start
It's
watching
awesome.
those.
Yeah.
I was almost
I'm
really
a huge
embarrassed.
gamer. Actually.
I was almost really embarrassed last week because Uche almost got me in a whole
I
section of
was-
races.
I know.
I would have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have never played again. I don't think if that had happened. So
Well,
Next
you
week.
were kind of getting like messed up last night too. So
I had a very bad night. It was just
Yeah,
like,
you did.
everything seemed to go wrong. It was really weird.
Yeah. It's got
well, he did, and then here comes Uche and them, and they're like,
He's like,
yeah.
Uche's like, oh, I just got this bullet during the lightning. Don't worry. Oh wait, I got lightning too. Boom.
And Uche's like, yeah, see ya, Ryan. Ryan's back up. I'm like, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah, he looks like freaking. It looks like Usain Bolt out there racing against paraplegics because he's just got all these items
and pushing them out the way. Just, It's like you have no mercy on a kid when you're playing video games with them. When you're supposed to let them come. No, fuck him. We're blowing him out.
Yeah.
And then
I do have to get going.
Okay,
here, guys, I gotta bounce. I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer. I just
Ryan,
I'd actually seen Esh send the link, and then Uche said he was going to be on here as well, so I really wanted to pop by.
Ryan, I will say this to both of you guys: you guys are always welcome here. Okay,
thank you
for sure, man. Thank you.
Appreciate that, man. But thanks for having me on.
Follow me on Twitter so I can like message you too. So or Facebook or whatever.
Okay.
I was able to message you.
If I were Uche, well, that'd be 500, cuz. That's
500, cuz. Follows just don't grow out of trees, cuz.
Ryan, is there anything you like to promote? I know we're doing a stream, but is there anything else you like to promote?
Nope, just what we got going on tomorrow on Uche's channel. I mean, subscribe to my stuff, and you'll see it from time to time when it comes out. Other than that, I got nothing to promote. Just AFSP Snyder Cut.
Yeah. Okay, Uche, is there anything you like to promote besides the Snyder Cut?
No, man. I just wanted to come show support for you guys, and just ask everybody to make sure they come check us out tomorrow. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, I appreciate, guys. I thank you, everybody, for coming. Everybody, thank you. Like, subscribe. I hope you guys, when you go back and see this, you have a fun night. We talked about basically everything. So, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Just look at Eric.
Have a good night.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Oh.
All right.